Now we start this hour in Europe, where top Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov has said that an agreement has been reached for US President Donald Trump to meet his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. The two leaders are scheduled to meet in the coming days. He said that parties are already working on the preparations. The Kremlin has further said that the revenue for the meeting has been agreed and will be announced later. This comes after US Special Presidential Envoy Steve Witkoff met with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. However, the details of the outcome of the talks have not been made public yet. Earlier, US President Donald Trump announced that he could impose new sanctions on Russia on August the 9th, unless an agreement was reached on resolving the Ukraine crisis. We're now joined by Professor Georgy Toleraya. He's an international affairs expert. He joins us live from Moscow. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor Toleraya. What do you think, what do you make of this sudden agreement for these two leaders to meet now? And what's changed behind the scenes, given the most recent rhetoric of Donald Trump's that has shown frustration with the Russian president?
Well, I think that's the importance of the meeting cannot be concentrated on Ukraine, because normally the US and Russian leaders meet within several months after the inauguration of a new leader in the US, and that hasn't been the case with current presidency, so it's important by itself. But of course, the immediate cause for agreement on this meeting is the Ukrainian issue. Obviously, both sides need some kind of a deal or a semblance of a deal after Donald Trump imposed sanctions on India and promises to impose on Russia to find a way out of the situation. So the meeting is needed by the both to discuss this issue, although the agreement that can be reached may not be the final one. But it's important to have a face-to-face meeting to discuss the options on the Ukrainian issue and to find common understanding. So it's a very important development after a long pause, and it's welcomed universally.
Professor Toleraya, it's 2 days until this sanctions deadline is up. If talks do not go well, how will these sanctions impact the Russian economy and also Russia's military capabilities?
Well, of course, the sanctions is no good news for any people engaged in economic activity. But, Russia have been subject to more than 30,000 sanctions. A little bit more, a little bit less won't change the situation radically. And of course, it won't change the political and military course of Russia. So it's not a tragedy, although it's a welcome development. Of course, we are also concerned with the pressure which is exerted on India, our partner and friend, for not importing Russian oil. That would affect Russia's budget, but we will survive, and the political course and the military efforts will be continued.
Professor, finally, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin's relationship has seemingly, from the public eye, been a bumpy road. How do people in Russia feel about the possibility of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin meeting? Are they going in confident, or are they going in? Do they feel reserved about the whole thing?
I actually don't watch in much details President Trump's biography, but I doubt there's many people who can say that they have absolutely unbumpy relationship with him, personally or politically. So it's a given fact. I think that the meeting is important and the population will welcome it, but I personally wouldn't make too much over expectations, because when you make a deal, a personal deal, direct deal, and with a political leader, you should be sure that he will keep his word, that this is a reliable partner, and that what is said in confidential manner won't be leaked outside. And all of these features are not typically present at the President Trump's previous behavior. So making some kind of a secret deal which would hold, I think it's very doubtful. But talk is important, and understanding each other is important. And Russian population, as far as this news just broke out, and I spoke to several of my friends, everybody welcomes there's some movement ahead, but there's not much of expectations.
Professor Tolorai, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. We will, of course, bring you all updates in regards to those talks